Hey everyone, Dr. Ryan at Primal Chiropractic and Primal Elite Fitness. In this week's video blog, we're discussing the importance of maintaining 180 degrees of shoulder flexion to prevent or get out of shoulder pain. So when it comes to overhead range of motion, we want a pure 180 degrees of motion without compensation elsewhere. And we're going to break that down first. We're going to show you a few tests to make sure that you're moving purely through the shoulder without compensation elsewhere. One of the first tests that we like to do is to get you against a wall. And we want you to be able to maintain 3 points of contact into the wall: tailbone, mid-back, and the back of your head. So we're going to first set that up to show you what it looks like. Tailbone, mid-back, and then the point in the back of your head, you should be able to get that against the wall. Now, if you struggle to get the point of the back of your head against the wall, it's typically a sign that your mid-back is stuck in flexion and you need to improve extension. Otherwise, you're never going to be able to move purely into shoulder flexion. So if I get stuck into flexion with my mid-back, it prevents me from getting 180 degrees of shoulder flexion. We have a full video discussing this. It's called How to Eliminate Mid-Back Tightness. I don't have time to go over it right now. Check that in our old YouTube videos. Now, let's say you're able to get into that nice 3-point position. Now we can start to test if you have pure 180 degrees of shoulder flexion. So get back in that position. Can you get your thumb in contact with the wall with each of those arms? And then see if you could do them with both arms, maintaining that 3-point contact and also making sure that low back doesn't pry off of the wall. If you can't get there and you're getting stuck, you do not have a pure 180 degrees of shoulder flexion, and this will eventually lead to shoulder pain or dysfunction down the road. I'm going to show you one exercise that is one of our go-tos to improve or restore shoulder flexion. It's nice because it's an active movement and it also will get a nice stretch in the lat or armpit area here. So if you have a barbell at home, just put it against a wall. We call this a landmine setup. And if it's in your right hand, for example, you'll get your right foot in back and you're going to press and then lean in to improve shoulder flexion range of motion. And you can repeat your repetitions and then hit the other side again. Press and then lean. One other thing you want to focus on is not allowing the shoulder to shrug during a press, because this will create compensation and imbalances as well. So as you press, whether it's with this or just with a dumbbell, we want to make sure that we're never hiking or shrugging. We're staying packed down with the scapula or the shoulder blade during that press. Once you get comfortable during this, I recommend that you start pressing in a half kneeling position, because this will prevent any compensation in the low back. Whenever we're in a split stance, it locks down the spine nicely and you can focus on just the shoulder joint and that overhead pressing motion. Once you get very comfortable, then you can start working the double arm, because it's a little bit more challenging to control your spine and your core. And then the last and the toughest progression is a symmetrical standing press. And when you do this, what you want to make sure that you're doing, especially if you're using a bar or a sandbag, is the second you clear your head, you want to make sure that that bar is over the crown of the head during the press. We don't ever want to press out in front of us, because it's not going to be healthy on the shoulder joint. We want good, healthy compression on the shoulder joint and not any shearing of the shoulder if you were to press out in front of you. So this is a great exercise to make sure that your shoulders stay nice and healthy. We want to be able to always maintain 180 degrees of shoulder flexion to prevent pain or dysfunction.